Alright guys, so I am changing the anode rod, sacrificial anode rod in my water heater. This water heater was made in 2008 and it's never been changed. They're only supposed to last 4 to 6 years. That's if you're lucky. They should be checked and changed every 2 to 3 years. Anyway, it's up. This was where mine is at. This is model 6E50-2. Mine is right here. These are just where they fill it with the spray foam, the two-part expanding foam. You have to chisel it out. And my anode rod was right there. 42 inches long. Got a bent it right there trying to get it out. But 42 inches long, so my ceiling's not quite that high. So we ended up pulling the water heater forward. When we get the new one, we're going to unhook these so we can pull it forward. But this thing was a bear to get out after that long. They're pretty well fused in there. So what we did, we used a breaker bar and a pipe on the end of the breaker bar and still couldn't get it loose. It was still wanting to spin the water heater even with 2 kids holding on to it. So what we did was we put this crowbar against the brass down at the base and against the pressure relief and just use this end to hold. And I had to lean on the breaker bar, but we got it popped loose and got it out. Just don't be careful on these. You break that nipple off and you're going to need a new water heater. Anyway, we got it out. I'll show it to you. Oh, sorry. First thing you want to do before you start this job is kill your power on your water heater if it's electric. Shut the breakers off. Pretty simple. Mine's right here. Water heater. Shut the breaker off. And then you're going to want to drain some water. You don't want the pressure in there. Shut the water off, your cold water in. And we just took this little 10-foot hose we use in the RV. We use this on our flusher. So we put it down there on the drain and ran it out the door. Drained about 4 or 5 gallons of water off and opened the pressure relief valve to make sure there wasn't no pressure in there. Broke it loose and got it out. So I had another video up where I did this in my camper too. This anode rod, it looked pretty solid when I took it out. But when we bent it, trying to get it out of there, it's just mineral and calcium deposits that have built up around it. You can see how this is supposed to be smooth. And see how dimpled it is. It was actually doing its job for a few years, or a year or two, until the calcium built up. Once the calcium built up around it, it was completely coated. And it just completely stopped the minerals and from attack. It's, they're attacking the anode, and it stopped that process. See how bad it is down at the bottom? But once it got coated completely in calcium and mineral deposits, it couldn't attack that anymore. It was protected. So that's how it starts rusting on your tank. So we got it out. It's 1 1/16. Pretty much any anode rod is going to be 1 1/16. You can see how much pressure we had to put on the nut. It actually, the 12-point socket bent each little corner where it dug in. That's how much pressure it took to get it out. Okay, so what we're going to do is go get a new one. I looked at Menards website and they're about 20 bucks. And they also, if you don't have much clearance, they make a flexible one. It's called a flexible one. It's actually a 3-piece. It has about 16 inches and then a little cable piece and then 16 inches, a little cable, kind of like nunchucks. It's in 3 pieces. So you can, if you had 16 inches of clearance, you just poke it in, bend it, poke it in, bend it, poke it in. We're going to go ahead and probably get the other one. Like I said, it's not too much trouble. We're just going to unscrew these real quickly and pull it toward me so we get a little more clearance up here. And slide the new one in. It's like 12 bucks more for the other one, so I don't know. It's going to be in there a few years. It wasn't that bad, so I think we'll just go with the 42-inch solid. And we'll show you when we're putting that in and getting it all going again.
Hey, yo.
What? All right, here's what we're looking for. That one is bent. Like they all got a little bit of a warp to them. Yeah, there we go. 42 inch. This is the flexible one if you don't want to move your water heater out. Hangs in there like that. Alright, so we got the new anode rod. 42 inch. So we're not going to be able to fit it in there, so I'm going to have to, I already loosened those. Took those loose. Then we're going to have to disconnect that. Alright, well, rather than untape all that, and just make sure you got your power off. Rather than untape all that, I just loosened the two top clamps on the conduit. So I'll pull it out from the wall. That ought to give me enough clearance to get this rod in. So we're going to pull it out and slide our new anode right there. Alright, so I got it pulled out and we slid her down in there. Now I'm going to pop it up and throw a little thread seal tape on it. There we go. Alright, shouldn't be a problem. Alrighty. Now, just spin it. There we go. Now, all right. All right, so we got some thread seal tape on our new anode. We're just going to tighten that down in there. All right. We'll make sure we don't get it cross-threaded.
We have to get in the cross space.
There, should go easy on the first couple of turns. Starts going in hard right off the bat, you're getting it in crooked. Alright, that ought to be tight enough. Now I'm going to throw this back together real quick. Got some real interesting conversations going on at the kitchen table. Alright.
There you go. Yeah, you just become done.
Okay. Put our ground screw back on. There we go. Ground screw. Okay. Now we just got to tighten up our inlet and outlets.
What would you say? What would you say?
All right.
Joseph! Hey, yo. Stop putting pizza in your hands.
Alright, now I'm just going to tighten those up with a crescent wrench. Alright, so we got these are rubber fittings on here, so I don't want to get them super tight, just snug. You don't want to over smash the rubber fitting. Now we're just going to turn on the water, check for leaks. Okay, water's on. Hear it going in the tank. It's good here. We'll flip the breaker back on. We're gonna let it fill up and check down in here. Just make sure nothing's coming up out of here. All right, we got her filled up. No leaks. So I had to chisel out the spray foam, so what I'm going to do is just shove a couple pieces of my pipe insulation. That one will be enough to fill that void. And we'll stick our cap back on. We'll check her in a couple of years. Redid my pipe insulation, keeps the heat in. So if you haven't checked yours in 5, 6, 8, 10, 14 years, you may want to check it. Because otherwise, you'll rust your tank out sooner. Job well done.